Instagram, hello, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Welcome to another Tuesday Talk. I am so excited for this conversation and another Tuesday Talk. And the topic for today is if you want to be the obvious choice for the next opportunities, what are the 5 things that you need to work on? This is a longer conversation today. Normally, I try to keep it at 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, but today is a little bit longer. And I invite you to bring pens and papers and perhaps get ready and comfy for this conversation. If you've been here with me before, welcome back. And if it's the first time that you're here, welcome, welcome. I always talk about to that 1% of people in the world that they are always thinking about landing a higher profile role, and they are unapologetic about it. They want to get to C-level positions, or if they are in the C-level positions, they are thinking to transition out and do something in conjunction with what they currently do. The work we do with the first group that they want to go up the corporate ladder is of nature of positioning you as a leader. What can you do to be seen as a leader? Leveling up. And the work we do with the second group is of nature of monetizing your know-how and your knowledge and years of experience. This is a group that they are doing fantastically well, and they are considering gradually or suddenly transitioning out. The reason that a girl that her background is technology and business transformation is doing that is that over the years in my career, I've always seen people that they are heart of a movement, brain behind a design, architecture, building something incredible, but they've never got to decision-making positions. And I always wondered why. On the other side, I've seen so many people that they are on higher position roles, and you look at them and you wonder how and why. And I found that one unfair. And I thought, I'm going to do something about it. So I started to do research, read a lot, practice a lot, observe a lot, and understand to see how this happened and how people can progress and who are the people that they normally progress. And the core reason behind it is that I wanted to be able to help developing leaders that they can get to the top of organizations. Yes, we are still in conceptual and constructive hierarchy. So once they get there, they will be able to change and redesign the corporate land. So the entire study and research and all that work has been summarized in my books and my programs and workshops, and anything I do and talk about is in service of that, to address what I believe is unfair. So today's conversation is a little bit longer because I want to work on this or introduce these 5 aspects. And then over the next 5 weeks, I will break each one of them in details. So when you want to be seen as a leader with modesty and integrity for what you are able to do and offer, you first of all need to work on your identity. And that's your leadership point of view as who you are and what you stand for. And here's the thing. If you don't have this one sorted and figured out, these are the time that we see, though we are doing a fantastic job, people will feel that, is that it? Why am I doing this? We're questioning the reason, the purpose of the work we do. We sometimes not sure, do I want to do this? Do I want to push harder? And I remember one of my clients clearly said to me, I do not know why I'm doing this, and I do not have any energy or any enthusiasm to look at my next move. And this person is a senior director in one of the large consulting firms. The problem is not they're not good at their job. The problem is that there's not enough opportunity. It's just the reason behind it and the why and the purpose is not crisp and crystal clear for that person, for you. And this is important because this is something that you personally need to spend some time and know for yourself. And this is unique to you. And you can't outsource it. You cannot pass it to a marketing agency to come up with your leadership point of view as who you are, where you want to go, what's your mission, what's your purpose. Because after a certain age, after a certain level of income, mortgages are paid, kids are looked after, spouse is happy, parents kind of are comfortable, and at least we know what's the setup for them. So then what is the goal? If the external goals are met, which in this group of people that I'm talking to, 1%, very soon all your external goals will be met. So what's next? This is the first aspect that you need to be very crystal clear for yourself. Otherwise, we'll feel kind of stuck in life. Second thing is your expertise. This is what I call edge. And you will be fascinated how many leadership audit or conversations or assessments I do day in, day out. That when I ask them, okay, tell me about what is it that your expertise or what is it that you want to achieve or want to be doing next, they will give me their job title. Job title is not your expertise. Different companies have different titles, and sometimes we do something that has nothing to do with our title. We just do it because we are good at it. So knowing what is your expertise, what is your edge is incredibly important because people need to know what you are good at so they can think of you when there is an opportunity. And this is really truly about knowing what problem you solve and what's your method, how you go about it. This is your basically your secret sauce as how you work in an organization and what you solve. And I would like to know what metric you're specifically improving. And generally, that's your professional brand. Very much like when we have in family, people or friends that they are always good at one specific topic. Anytime you want to think of a restaurant to go, they have like a long list. This is for date, this is for group, this is for, I don't know, for family, this is for like a quick bite, this is cheap and warm and, you know, whatever. They're known for something. So, you know, anytime there is a specific topic, food, restaurant, you think of that person. Your expertise and how clear you are about it needs to be that crisp for you and for others. And for others. And most of the time, it's not about your title, it's about what type of work you do under that title. And it's fascinating, no judgment, just fascinating to see how many senior managers I talk to that after 10, 15 minutes of conversation, I still don't know what they're good at. So even though I'm a very well-connected person, if there's an opportunity, I can't think of connecting them to that opportunity. The third one is your presence. And these days, yes, of course, is your digital presence, but also there is a personal real life presence as well. I talk about digital presence first because this is the one that I personally struggled the most with it about 5-6 years ago. And that was to do with publishing anything public about anything valuable that I've done or I wanted to share with basically public. And I was really frightened to post my articles or my content or anything that I had. If you have known me over the last couple of years, you might know that I suffer from a very high imposter syndrome. If there was then a scale on it from 0 to 10, I am probably around 10, 11. Shocking. That's why I always research everything, practice everything, well prepared for everything. So that reduces my um, anxiety around publishing or saying something. But once I do all of that and I am sure that what I'm saying is right and helpful to someone, then it eliminates the pain and anxiety, and then I can publish it. The key thing here is that what I learned, and I teach this one, is that there's a method to this publishing and why, what and why you put out there. But the essence of it is this: you're going to be able to be of service to when you are publishing something. And I will give you an example of one of my clients, because we had a good laugh about it, is that, and I did a post about it, that if your work is in a folder and no one has seen it, well, your work doesn't have any opportunity to talk for itself and doesn't have any opportunity to help anyone. So here's the conversation. I was talking to a client and I said, okay, it's time for you to tidy up a couple of your cases, and can you talk about what you have done previously in last 2 cases? And it started to talk about one of these cases that it was like fantastic. It explained where they started the work, the steps that they took, the challenges, which was a very specific type of challenge, we call it a hairy problem. So after like that, I said, okay, so have you published this? It's like, no, I haven't. And I just could not understand why. And it wasn't because it was confidential, because we can always de-identify and remove the name of client or numbers and just talk about high level the method. But we did have a good laugh about it, because your work can't speak for itself if it's in a folder. And I understand that it's a little bit of challenge to publish a few things, but consider your contribution and what you're publishing to be able to help someone in your environment, in your industry, in your space, and in your network. I do know it's a difficult thing to do, but if you are very crystal clear that this is not your ego talking about what you've done, and it's for pure purpose of serving someone, it becomes a lot easier. Put aside all the needs of being correct or what are the methods. And yes, of course, there's the method to this madness of publishing things online. But if you haven't done that recently and you do have some good work, just write one article and publish it. The fourth element is networking. And this is the part that I have been in the last 2 months spending a lot of time on it. And I got a lot of good response to it, to the workshop that we run. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people registered and attended. And networking is very important, because this is the work that you need to do that is a very slow cook effort. It takes a long time for you to build a network that will send opportunities your way, that they know you for who you are, they know what you are expert in, and they know and have seen you in real life and digitally. So you are in forefront of mind, and then they can send you opportunities. This is the time that if you've got a healthy network, you will be able to go from a chaser to a curator. Opportunities will come to you. And it's a very humbling and heartwarming exercise, and I really hope that you get to experience it when someone in the middle of night will text you, or at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock will text you and say, hey, I was talking to so and so, they have this problem. I think you should talk to them. Do you have any time? I think these type messages are fantastic and shows you've done something with your life, in your career and in your professional life. And why I constantly spend time on talking about networking is because, first, it's a long game. So there's no way you can build a network in 6 months. It's a long term activity, it's very strategic, it needs to happen in conjunction with your work. The best time to start networking was the time that you probably went to kindy, maybe before that. If you haven't started networking, then probably the best time is just right now while you're listening to this talk, ping someone, all right, to revitalize an old connection. So the reason I talk about it is A, it's a long game. B, it's where actually real stuff happens. So knowing what's your what's your entity, knowing what's your expertise, having some digital presence, yes, it's great, and you must have all of that. But network is where things will come to real life and becomes human to human interaction. And I will run another workshop on this in less than a month. I will incorporate the feedback that I got from the previous workshop, and I will run another workshop next month, and just specifically on a long-term strategy of networking as what is needed for you. Put all of those things in place so you can be strategic and active, but with low investment of your time when you're thinking of networking. Last thing that is important about you being seen as a leader, as the first person for the next opportunity. It's an odd one, but that's about your net worth and you negotiating. That's interview and negotiation. And it is important because people that they know what they are able to do, they know what they need to charge for. And number of people that during the negotiations will come up with the things that they were just like, oh, I didn't know. Or they've accepted the role and they sign up things that they just didn't negotiate what they needed to negotiate in advance is fascinating. Also saddening, really. And I was one of them. I did not know what I could charge for what I do. And now I've learned, and now I teach it. And it's a difficult thing because we don't change jobs or we don't get many gigs frequently. It's like maybe most frequent one is every year, every 2 years. And if you are in higher profile roles, the frequency of changing job is even less, every 4 or 5 years. So how do we know what's the market rate? How do we know what else can we negotiate? How do we know what are the shares and options that we can negotiate, and what are those constructs? No one teaches you. And the moment that you want to sign something is not the time to research and Google it or ask ChatGPT. You need to know prior as what is it that you would need, you would want before you enter a conversation. I say all of these ones, I'll summarize it to share with you this one point. Your identity, leadership point of view, your expertise, what you're good at and what value you bring to the table, your presence, how you are seen and what you offer the world, your network, the connections that you have, and your net worth, how you negotiate, interview and negotiate. All of these at the same time, they work interconnected. They're not sequential, they're not parts. You need to work on all of it at the same time to be able to be seen, and then Be seen for who you are and what you offer, so you will become an obvious choice and you'll become a right match for what makes you happy and what delivers value to the companies that you will join. Before I finish with an action, because you always know that I always have an action for you, is that I know a lot of people watch my videos and read my content. And firstly, LinkedIn is not a platform that is very interactive. But I also know that it's very difficult to interact with it because I understand that you can't interact with it because your team or your colleagues or your boss or board members are seeing you that, and I talk about your next move, and and it might not, it might be unsettling for others. And anyway, this is your private affair, and not so many people. Nobody needs to know it. So the action that I invite you to take is to look at assessment that I have that is about your visibility as a leader. This assessment is not for faint of heart. I originally had it as a long questionnaire, and then someone in digital marketing told me, I'll make it shorter so you can get their emails. I was like, I don't know. I did it for a while. I reduced it to 8 questions. And then I was like, no, that's not my style. People that are my people, they're willing to put in the work. So I invite you to DM me. So I'll share the link with you and go through the questionnaire. Questionnaire itself will give you some guidance as what are the activities that you need to take to increase your visibility. Also, we'll give you a score. It is a little bit longer than normal, and yes, no, it's not Myers-Briggs. It's not any of those disc or your zodiac sign that tells you who you are. It's just not about the hand that you've been dealt. It's about the activities that you are doing or you are not doing. It's very, very objective. So, and also all of those activities are in your control, so you can do them, executable. So I invite you to go through the questionnaire to get a sense of your visibility. And then if you have any questions, please DM me privately for a confidential conversation. And that would be it for today. 5 aspects that you need to work on to be seen as a leader, as the obvious option for the opportunities that they come. Thank you so much for indulging me today, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, and definitely a different topic. Bye.